Morning you guys, it's Karen and I'm here to talk about this, the Vita Liberata Invisi. This is a self-tanning mousse and it is a new kind of mousse in that it's very much like water and it's called a foaming tan water. I'm always looking at the self-tanning section when I go into Boots or Superdrug to see if there's anything new out, and I was delighted to see this time that there was 3 things that were new, and 2 of them were these tanning waters. The other one was by Saint-Tropez, and so Saint-Tropez would be my first choice really with tanning products because I really like Saint-Tropez, and all of the products I've used from Saint-Tropez I have enjoyed, and I kind of trust in them as a self-tanning company. But on looking at the ingredients in this Vita Liberata one were much better. In the Saint-Tropez one I know that there was perfume and I think there may have been alcohol, and this one there isn't either of those things, so I was just happier with the ingredients of Vita Liberata. I have had some success with Vita Liberata but not with every single product. There have been some products, for example the tanning powder, the bronzing, it looks like a loose bronzer but it's actually a self tanner, and I found that to be absolutely terrible. But then I did love their little serum that I used as a face tanner, but it ran out very quickly. So yeah, I was interested to find out how well this did. I also have the Vita Liberata Phenomenal. This is the 2 to 3 week tan mousse, although it's not really 2 to 3 week tan unless you put it on 3 to 4 nights, I think it is, that you have to put it on to get that 2 to 3 weeks, which is a bit of a marketing thing. So I've made my notes on this last night. This bottle was £25, which is actually really good value for money compared to the other tanners that they do, such as this one. This one is 200ml. This one is 125, I think. Yeah, 125ml. This one is the Phenomenal 2 to 3 weeks tan. This one is 37 and this one is £25, and you get more in the £25 one. There's one other tan they do which is called a rapid tan, and you wash it off either after 1 hour, 3 hours or 6 hours, and that one is £24.50. So the same price, but that one is 100ml, so half of the amount of this. So actually for value for money you're better off getting this one. This does come in light, medium to dark and super dark. I did not realise that. There was nothing on the shelves distinguishing them, and there was nothing obvious on the front of them. So that's something I would say to be aware of and have a look when you're buying it. And it's turned out I'm happy with the colour I've got, which is medium to dark, but that's where it is there. I mean, you can barely even read it. It's just there, medium to dark. So you can get it in light, medium to dark and super dark. So thank goodness I've got the medium to dark. Maybe that's the only colour they sold in Boots. Maybe they didn't do the other 2 colours and we're just going to see how this one did. So I'll tell you their claims and how they say to use it, etc. And then I'll tell you how I got on with it and what I think of those claims. So it says organic botanicals, advoganic TM technology, hydrating and anti-aging, zero transfer, super fast drying, darker than other formulas, and 100% vegan. It says to use a mitt using 2 to 3 pumps. Don't put any moisturiser on before or after, and to use it in circular motions, you know, with a mitt, which is pretty standard. Have a look at these claims. So organic botanicals, yes, it has organic botanicals in it. That's just a fact. It says advoganic TM technology. Advoganic, or TM, means that they have trademarked the word advoganic, and that is just advanced organics. So it's just a nice play on words, and they are saying that they have put in highly potent organic materials into this that they believe makes it superior to anything else. So there's not really anything I can say about that. That's not something I could really tell from using it. Hydrating and anti-aging, it's hydrating in that it has aloe in it and also sodium hyaluronate in it, and anti-aging, yeah, I would say it's anti-aging because it has antioxidants in it. It's not necessarily anti-wrinkle. It's not going to do anything for the aging that has already happened on your skin, but it does have antioxidant. It is a bit protective. It has vitamin E in it. Regarding hydration, like I said, it's got aloe and sodium hyaluronate in it, but I used this, by the way, not yesterday, the day before, on my arms, and there's still colour left, although I may look very pale to you. This is me tanned, and you can see that it's not patchy at all. But I used it last night on my face and neck, and Because it's a mousse, I was thinking I'm going to have no moisture apart from the bit of aloe and sodium hyaluronate in here, because it says not to put moisturiser on before and after, and I wanted to follow the instructions, and I was worried that my face would be really, really tight. It did get a little bit tight, but it wasn't immediate and it wasn't extreme. What I did was I just used a face mist, a moisturising face mist that I've got over to try and take away that tight feeling, and it did work. I didn't end up needing to put on moisturiser, which I thought may happen. So I was surprised at, considering it's such a light foam water, there's no colour guide or anything, that it gave as much, that my skin didn't feel tighter. So I think if you've got dry skin like myself, you may struggle to use this without using a moisturiser, which may mean you have to go for the super dark one if you want a medium colour, or go for the medium one if you want a light colour. Zero transfer, absolutely. There would be no transfer from this because there is no colour, and I specifically put a new pillowcase on, slept, like I said, I've got it on my face and neck. I had it on my arms the night before. I've checked the sheets, there's nothing, no transfer at all, no transfer on my clothes, which is fantastic. Super fast drying, it absolutely is. In fact, on my arms, I was like, oh, I wouldn't have minded an extra 10 seconds to just blend it in. Because there's no colour guide and it's super fast drying, you kind of don't have an idea where you've put it. So I would say if you're using this, it says to use 2 to 3 pumps. I probably used 4 to 5 pumps and then quickly just made sure it covered everywhere. You don't want to not have enough on the mitt, you know, because then you'll need to put more on and you'll think, well, where did I stop? Because you can't see anything at all. I think it might have said there was a glow as you apply it, but I didn't see that. I can't see it written on here, so maybe I just made that up. So super fast drying, yes. Darker than other formulas. I would say this is about average, medium to dark, and I would say that this was very dark. I noticed, I put it on my hands, which I don't normally do with self tanner. I put it on my arm, and then I normally put a gradual tan on my hands, and I just sort of put moisturiser around my wrists and blend it. There's no big issues around my wrists. I did still do the moisturiser thing though on my hands. I didn't just put this on with no moisturiser, and I would not recommend putting this on your hands with no moisturiser, because I put my moisturiser on, then this, then more moisturiser on my hands. And I've got a photo, I took a photo of my hand, and although it looks okay, I don't think it looks terrible, I could still tell that I had self-tan on my hands. So it obviously, I mean, I've got quite wrinkly fingers and hands though, it did kind of still seep a little bit into those lines. So I definitely wouldn't recommend using this without a moisturiser before and or after. And I think next time I use this, I would maybe use this again on my hands, very, very sparingly. I would literally use whatever was left on the mitt, which is difficult because, like I said, it dries so very quickly, but I would definitely moisturise. But I would probably be more likely to just use a self-tan, a gradual tan, as I said I normally do, because it was dark. But yeah, I wouldn't necessarily say darker than any other formula. 100% vegan, it is 100% vegan. Using a mitt, yeah, I haven't tried it in any other way, and I don't feel like a mousse would work better any other way. You know, I've got gloves that I could use, I've got, you know, I could use my hands, I've got brushes that I use sometimes, but I think with a foam it's best used on a mitt. I just think that'll give you the quickest spread, you know, you'll be able to get it over everywhere quickly before it dries. I wonder actually if I didn't put enough on my neck, so I feel like there are no telltale lines on my neck, and that's very, very unusual. It may be because I have skipped a tretinoin night, so it might be that, or it might just be that it is that good, I don't know, but it doesn't look as dark as I would have expected on my neck. Certainly with my hand I could see the difference in colour. And what I'll do, because obviously this video won't go up today, but I will take a picture of my hand in another 2 days and compare it with the picture of the hand with this on when it was just developed. Just looking at my notes here, I've said that it's dark. I said that before I knew that I had the medium to dark one. I thought that there was just one colour range in there. Dries fast, so blend quickly. Oh, nearly no scent on application and no scent on development. There is, when you put it on, there is a slight scent to it, but it's barely noticeable, and it's a very pleasant smell. It's not, doesn't smell perfumed, it smells, I want to say medical, but it's not that strong. You know, medical smell would be quite strong. It's a very, very light, clean scent, maybe a sort of wash and powder scent, I would say. But obviously everybody will have a different experience of the scent, but it's very, very light. And when it develops, there is no self-tan smell at all. I did not wake up and notice that I had self-tanner on, which normally I would. No streaks, but I did moisturize, yeah, and no staining. So I've said no streaks because there's no streaks on my arms, there was none on my elbows, but I did put a little bit of moisturizer on my elbows that was left over from me rubbing it into my hands, and it was a real rich body butter that I put on my hands. It wasn't just a light hand cream, but no streaks at all, which is nice. And it didn't, you know, the wrists is a place on me that often shows. On my neck, I mean, that is really good. If that's something to do with this, not the fact that I've missed out the tretinoin, then that's brilliant. And I think it probably is this, because you guys will know that showing the white lines in my neck wasn't a problem just since using tretinoin. It's been a problem since I've used self-tanner. No, not since I've used self-tanner. Since the wrinkles in my neck have got worse, since I've put on weight, and therefore the lines are more obvious. And so I think it may be to do with how quickly this dries. You know, you put it on and it's almost instantly dry, so it doesn't have time to kind of gather anywhere, you know, the way a cream would. It's kind of the opposite to what I thought, because I would have thought the more oily moisturising product I put on, the less likely I would be to have those lines. But it's turned out that a nice light, fast drying product has been better from what I can see so far. So how does it compare to the others, the other self-tanners from Vita Liberata? Well, firstly, it's a lot cheaper, as I said at the beginning, but the Phenomenal one is supposed to last 2 to 3 weeks. But when you read it, it says that you need to apply it 2 to 3 days in a row in order to get a 2 to 3 week tan. And so I wonder if any tan would do that. You know, I don't know that that is specific to the Phenomenal one, but the Phenomenal one is supposed to be longer lasting. The Rapid Tan is the third one that they do in a mousse form, and that one is one that you're supposed to wash off depending on how long or how dark you want the tan to be. But the biggest difference is that the other two, this one and the other one, are tinted, whereas this one is not tinted. So this one is for you if you don't want to spend £37 on a tan, which I just think is a ridiculous price. 25 is kind of the most I'd like to pay. This is for you if you've got sensitive skin, because it's not got any perfumes or any harsh chemicals or anything, you know, horrible in it. This is for you if you don't like the transfer of tans onto your sheets, etc. This is for you if you've got oily skin. I would say this would be really good for you, because there's nothing there that's going to break you out. I can't really think of a benefit to buying the other ones over this, other than they have a guide colour. So if you prefer a guide colour, you might prefer the other ones. But I am super impressed with this so far. So I am going to use this another couple of times on my face and neck and see what I think. I had been using this one on my face and neck and really liked the colour. I think the colour, I didn't talk about the colour that it's going to be. You can see the colour on me just now. It's a really nice, non-orangey, but non-greeny brown, if that makes sense. It's a very neutral colour, I feel like. I feel like it's not orangey, which a lot of tans can be, but also like the Saint-Tropez tends to be sort of greeny brown. You know, there's even a green colour you can see sometimes, and this is more of a neutral brown colour, and I love the colour from the Phenomenal Tan, but I did find that it did, you know, show up my lines here, so I will definitely be seeing if this is maybe the solution to this line problem on my neck, which means that it's not going to, you know, it hasn't like drawn to any dry patches on my skin or anything like that, which is pretty impressive. So yeah, really enjoying this so far. Really good choice, and I'm so glad I got this one and not the Saint-Tropez one. So I'll link it for you. Let me know if you've bought this and tried it. I think it's literally just out in Boots. Hopefully I can link it for you online, and maybe in the USA as well. I don't know whether Vita Liberata is available to you guys. Tell you what I've got on my face. I've got on, do I even need to tell you my foundation? Bare Minerals Bare Pro in 09. On my eyes is MAC Antique. Do you remember I said I was going to use those little quads, and I used, no, they're not quads, they've got 9 in them. I used the Burgundy ×9 one. MAC Melba blush, Too Faced Child Star lipstick, and earrings River Island, necklace River Island. This top is from Marks and Spencer's, and that's everything. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll speak to you soon.